All right, guys, how's it going? My name is Matthew Mcfarland. I'm a survival instructor by trade. I live in Idaho, in Emmett, right outside of Boise, for the winter times. But in the summertime, I'm actually usually down here in Colorado, which is where I am now. I came down to help teach some military special forces guys. So I actually am down here in Colorado, up at about 9,500 feet elevation. I'm up here at Colorado Mountain Man Survival. This is our main school location at the moment. As you can see, we've got a little bit of this white stuff on the ground. So yeah, I'm going to, at the moment, I'm going to take you guys over to the sunny side of the valley, and I'm going to do hand drill real quick. So I do have a set that I bought from a fella named Myron Cretney at Rabbit Stick in 2019, or no, not 2019. That was the first time I went. No, I just went down this last year, and I actually got to take a high tanning class from Teresa this year. So that's been a dream of mine for a long time. Now I just need to go out and harvest a couple of deer myself, so I got some more skins to work with. All right, so I'm taking you over here across the hill because it's a bit drier, but I'm going to collect some grass for tinder. I'm going to make a tinder bundle. I'm going to create a little coal catch out of a piece of wood, scrap wood, and I will go ahead and get a hand drill going up here. Again, like I said, I'm up here at about 9,500 feet elevation. That is where we normally teach. I am the Director of Operations and Lead Instructor for TSU, the Survival University, and Colorado Mountain Man Survival, which is Jason's personal brand in school. And I tell you what, I couldn't be happier. I took the 50-day from him in 2018. I was his first and only graduate, and everything has just grown and gone gangbusters since, and we are really looking forward to expanding even more. Oh man, when you're not used to that elevation anymore, it'll kick your rear end. All right, before I get up into tree line, I'm going to come out here. I'm on a south-facing slope, much drier, much nicer than the north-facing slope I was just on. I'm going to collect some grass, and we'll walk through the steps. I kind of just treat you guys like I treat my classes that I teach. All right, so on this hillside, we've got all this grass here. We normally ask students, all right, you can light grass on fire. That's kind of a no-brainer, sure. What kind of grass are you looking to harvest though, right? And almost invariably, everyone says, oh, you want this nice golden dead stuff. Which, you know, that's not wrong. It burns, it works. However, a little trick and tip is we actually tell students to collect growth that's quite a bit older. So, you know, this gold stuff, this is last year's green growth that died. And it's just fine, it'll burn. But stuff that's about 2 to 3 years old, this gray material, this stuff buffs down and processes much finer and much easier. The higher your surface area ratio, you know, surface area to oxygen ratio is, the easier it is to ignite things, the lower the energy level it requires to create combustion. So I'm going to collect myself a good bunch of this stuff. Luckily, it's been sunny and warm all day. It has been getting down quite cold in the evenings at night, and we've been having heavy frost. But this stuff has been out on this south-facing slope in the sun all day, and it's pretty darn dry. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to harvest some of this. The stuff that's nice and dry. If it was damp, I could always either put it in between a layer of clothing of mine, and as long as I'm not sweating, and as long as it's not putting me at risk of getting too wet and cold to become hypothermic, I could actually carry that next to my body to encourage it to dry out a bit. I could also fluff it and air it out and lay it out in the sun to get it to dry. Lots of workarounds. I am, of course, quite proficient with a ferro rod. While I am confident in my friction fire and primitive, fire methods, overconfidence can get you killed. So it's one of those things that I understand that it would be a risk. Ferro rods are wonderful and they're lovely. Got myself a nice wad of nice dry grass. I could also, of course, use pine needle duff if I don't have grass. And pine needle duff tends to be fairly sheltered because it's up under the pine trees. Spruce needles I can mix and match, of course. I've also done it where I found squirrel nests. They love to shred up bark and all that good stuff. And you can rob the nest, dig that out of a tree, or kick it out of a tree with a stick. No problem. But all right, let's see if I can get this set up here. I'm now going to make a coal catch for my hand drill. I could do this directly on the Tinder Bundle. That's not usually my preferred method, but it is a possibility. I don't actually have to have a coal catch. We're going to take my little axe here, my handy dandy Grant course. And you know what? This bark will probably be just fine on its own. I was thinking about actually taking and shaving off a splinter. We'll go ahead and do both just for the heck of it. All right. So just take a nice little shaving off. There we go. Easy peasy. Coal catch out of wood or bark. Tons of options up here. It's kind of funny, since this was the stomping grounds that I first learned on, and you know, to my novice eyes, my inexperienced eyes, how resource barren I felt that this area was. But the longer I've spent here, you know, I've been actually teaching for about 4 years at this point. Every year I still learn something new about the area, and I find yet another resource. So it's all about what you know. Like Morris Kahansky said, you know, the more you know, the less you carry, right? Okay, so I'll get up here on this rock. You know what, actually, let's go for a little bit of an extra challenge. Let's do the hand drill in the snow, just to show off a little bit, and also discuss some issues that people may run into when they're doing friction fire out in less than ideal circumstances. And this will also hopefully help me keep me from setting the mountainside on fire. All right, it's only happened once or twice. Now, we really do take fire safety very carefully, or very seriously out here. Colorado is sadly known for its wildfires, and if the school burns down, we're all out of a job, so no good there. All right, let me get you wrapped up on this aspen tree here. All right, so as I was discussing earlier, I got my nice little Tinder Bundle here, right? Now, this stuff as is, I could almost certainly get a fire going, but I can increase my chances simply by processing it down a little bit further. As I discussed earlier, this gray stuff processes down into much finer fibers, much easier than that fresher yellow stuff that just died this past fall, you know? So, and we always tell students too, don't be afraid to use a lot. A lot of people, they just want to have a little Tinder Bundle or a bird's nest like that, you know? It's like, well, you can do it. That's certainly doable. But if you've got the resources available, if you're not in a resource lean area, why not get yourself, you know, a basketball size or a football size of the good stuff? You know, there ain't no harm in stacking the odds. There's no cheating in survival. You know, it ain't cheating if it works. Now, I could be collecting a lot of this too if I wasn't putting it directly on the snow. I could collect some of this and put it back in. I don't really need to, though. This should be fine. All right, so here we've got my bird's nest, all right? All nice and processed, super fine and fluffy right there, okay? I love using cottonwood bark if you've got it. Here at this elevation, we don't, sadly. We often bring some up from camp at lower elevations for students to try, give them a try. So I'm gonna set my sets over. All right, now I am gonna be doing this on the snow, but I'm gonna go ahead and pack it down a little bit. So, it's been getting quite warm during the day and then getting quite cold at night. Just pack down a nice little flat area in the snow, and I'm also getting my boots nice and wet. Now, anyone that's at all familiar with friction fire, you'll understand or realize that you normally stand on your hearthboard or your fireboard, right? Now, I could take the time to take my boots off to have a nice dry boot, but that's kind of a pain in the rear. So I can bypass the problem of putting a wet, snowy, dripping boot on my fireboard. I can bypass that problem by getting another stick. I can then put that third stick or extra stick on top. I will step on this one without actually putting my boot on the hearthboard itself, okay? All right, so here's my coal catch. Earlier, let's see if that's gonna be in frame. Okay, turn towards you guys a little bit here. Yeah, we'll do it away. We'll do it away. I can do either or. I'm ambi, but I do usually prefer it to be facing towards me. That's fine. Just leave it longer than I need. Okay. Let me because this is actually the drier bit here. We'll just wedge that down. All right, make sure everything's nice and flat. So the fireboard in this particular set is incense cedar, which grows over in California. We don't have that locally here. But the guy I took a class from at Rabbit Stick that I bought it from, I wanted to kind of support him a bit. Man was amazing. I've never seen hand drill like that. He actually sat down and did hand drill and made it look easy with a hand drill that was about 5 inches long. It blew my mind. So the fireboard is incense cedar, and this particular spindle is a Canadian fleabane or horsetail or horseweed. All right, so I've got my Tinder Bundle. I'm going to set that somewhere dry out of the way, but close at hand. I don't want to be trying to play beat the clock here. All right. Okay. We're going to step on that stick. Try to hold everything down if we can. Pretty wet and slushy here. All right. I'll be at a little bit of an angle, but I think I can make that work. Hand drill is still a skill that I am working on. I definitely would not consider myself an expert on hand drill. I'm much better with bow drill, but as an instructor, I should try to be at least somewhat proficient in all methods. All right. Right now, I'm just pre-warming the board. Is all I'm doing. All right. I'm pre-warming the board, doing the float technique here. I'm glad you guys can at least see what I'm doing, even if you can't see my face. Apologies about that. So I'm pre-warming the board and I'm generating dust. All right. I've already got a little bit of smoke. I have to fill that notch with dust before I actually try to get ignition. All right. So I'm just going low and slow. Not in a hurry. Now I could cheat this if I had access to some dry animal scat. Rabbit or deer or elk. You can actually preload your notch with that stuff, or you can add it to your ember after the fact. And that actually helps cut down your workload. You don't have to generate all this dust by hand. And hand drill, the dust, because it is a pithier, softer material, it definitely does not smolder as long as bow drill with something like aspen. Okay, so now that I'm gonna take a break from talking for a second, I'm now going to go for ignition. I've got a nice little pile of dust. I'm gonna pre-warm it up again. We're actually gonna try to get an ember here. Oops, ooh, that was a no, 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 no. I just jammed that spindle right down in the snow. All right. Getting lots of smoke, but no ember. You also get that false sense of security or overconfidence when you get used to doing this closer to sea level, where the air is not quite as thin. Come on, baby. Maybe. Oh, I think I got it. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of good smoke out of there. All right. Nope. Come on, let go. Yep. Here she blows. There's my ember. All right. Luckily, there's not much of a wind or a breeze to blow it out. Just enough to keep it going. Stick her up here. You can see that there. All right. I'm going to go ahead and transfer into my Tinder Bundle here. So I'm going to marry the Tinder Bundle. This way so you guys can see. I want to be real gentle with your ember in the beginning stages. Transfer it over. Do a little taco. And then we'll start to blow. All right, here we go. Right on the edge. You can see that color change in the smoke where it turns more of a viscous yellow, right? And there we have it. Hand drill on a snowbank at 9,500 feet. Now, obviously, I would have already had all of my tinder and kindling and feather sticking and all that stuff. Come here. There we go. Sorry. I would have had all that stuff ready to go, of course, pre-prepared. Again, friction fire is not when you want to try to be playing beat the clock. You want to have everything pre-prepared, pre-staged, ready to go, good fire lay, good area, all that good stuff. But just wanted to kind of show you guys the core concept. Oh, and I do have a little bit of a runner here. I'll make sure this is all out well and good before I take off. So yeah, stay tuned, and I look forward to sending you guys more videos.